Ya Ali Madad Niamat Saiba.
Mawlānā, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. What a beautiful zikr by all friends. Alhamdulillah. Let us start with the name of Mawla. Some zikr. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nūr Mawlānā, Shāh Karim al-Ḥusaynī, Hāzīr Imām. Ya Mawla Meherban, please help us, Mawla. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Ya Mawla Meherban, please help us, Mawla. Be the light on the tongue of the Najis, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. Ya Ali Madad to all friends. Today we are going to go on a very special journey, which is very known to us, Nad-i Ali. Understanding the Nad-i Ali dua. We all know this dua, but today we will try to look into in depth of it and see that we truly capture its meaning when we recite Nad-i Ali. So Nad-i Ali, we all know this dua, and there are different ways of saying it. The way I had learned in my childhood, we would say Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Ali 3 times, and then Nad-i Aliyun Mazra Lajaib. Tajidaw awnan laka fin nawaib. Kullu hammin wa gammin sayanjali biwalayatika ya Ali, ya Ali, ya Ali. So that is the way I had learned. But we are looking at the screen and we do know, we say Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Aliyun Mazra Lajaibi. Tajidaw awnan laka fin nawaibi. Kullu hammin wa gammin sayanjali biwalayatika ya Ali, ya Ali, ya Ali. Both the methods are correct according to the grammatical rules in Arabic. If you pause, you don't say the I. But if you don't pause, you continue to say it, then you say the I. So it is Arabic, which is a very complex language, so we will not go into that. But just know, be confident that the way you have learned, it is all right. Because we understand the translation. When we say Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Ali, several times we are saying invoking Ali, right? So invoke Ali, who is the locus of manifestation of divine wonders. You will find him helpful in all calamities. Every sorrow and grief will vanish through your walayat, which means authority and love. O Ali, O Ali, O Ali. So we understand the translation. Let us go into detail of it and understand it in detail. And the reason we all got interested in this prayer because we heard the Hidayat of Hāzīr Imām in Tariqa of 13 December 2023. And I'm paraphrasing here that Imam guided us and said that in the moments of difficulty and rapid change, which we are seeing in current times in our world, Mawla guided us and told us that Jamaat should seek strength and comfort in the regular practice of our faith. And very beautifully, when the gift was given to Imam, and in that gift, the dua Nad-i Ali was written. And Imam mentions this prayer in the same context. Imam is saying that this prayer invokes the grace of Hazrat Ali for spiritual strength and healing. It has deep significance in our tariqah. So that was our motivation and reason to talk about this, to understand it, that Imam's hidayat has come to us, that Mawla has told us that we are seeing this world changing very rapidly. We are seeing war and AI coming in. So many things are happening in the world, and it is giving anxiety and depression in very many people. And Imam is guiding us that we have to seek strength, spiritual strength and healing from this dua. This dua has a deep significance in our tariqah. So what is that deep significance? Number one, the first thing which we have to know is that this is Hadith-i Qudsi. This dua is actually Hadith-i Qudsi. We all know there are two types of sayings of Prophet Muhammad. Hadith-i Nabawi, meaning saying of Prophet Muhammad, and Hadith-i Qudsi, meaning those verses which were revealed to Prophet Muhammad. But when we say Hadith-i Qudsi, these are those saying of Prophet Muhammad which was revealed to him, but it never got into Quran. For whatever reasons, we are not going into that. But Nad-i is Hadith-i Qudsi. This prayer was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. That is why it is very significant. It is part of Quran, which we accept as Shia Imami Ismaili Nizari Muslims. That this is the prayer which was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. So what I've done, I've taken some parts to focus by discussing it in terms of key points. So the first key point, which we have to talk about, because everybody is interested in that we all see in this world grief and sorrow. And this dua beautifully says, Kullu hammin wa gammin, meaning all the anxieties of future and sorrows or sadness of the past will leave us if we were to say this prayer. And same thing Imam has said, that whatever changes which are coming in the world, difficulties which we are seeing or facing, all will vanish with this prayer. In the face of difficulty, we will find comfort. We have to believe in our Imam, he's guiding us. So how do we rationalize whenever we have difficulties? And if you remember, our elders would say, it was for your good that this test came on you. You would rationalize that there is something better in you, something good in it for you, that you are tested like that. And very interestingly, this Quranic verse, chapter 64, verse 11, says like that. It says, no disaster strikes except by permission of Allah. And whoever believes in Allah, he will guide his heart. And Allah is knowing of all things. When we have heard our elders telling us this, that there is a hikmah in the test which we face in our lives, then why do we forget that? What happens that we don't remember and we start complaining? Whenever we have any difficulty, we get into fear of it. How are we going to cope, or how are we going to do this and do that? All those thoughts which enter into our being, in reality, it is due to Shaitan. Because Shaitan finds a weak moment in us. We forget to remember that we have to have this strong, firm belief in Imam. And this Quranic verse is saying that no disaster can strike us except by his will, by his permission. So whatever we face in our lives, it is meant to happen to us. But why do we forget that? Because we forget this talimat. And there is a point of weakness. And in that moment, in that weak moment, Shaitan enters. And what does Shaitan give us? He whispers all what is, to be fear about, whatever difficulty we are having, physical health difficulties, illness coming in, financial difficulties. One thought will lead to next thought, and the next thought, and the next thought, and we will be thinking about all the challenges which we may face. We haven't faced yet. We may face, and now we are worried. Thinking about it, oh, what will I do? How am I going to go about this? And the difficulty is right in this moment, which is not reached to all the areas which we are thinking. But our mind has gotten into that trap, and now we are thinking thoughts and worrying and worrying and worrying. What happened to us? We forgot about this talim, that nothing can come to us except his will. Except his will. So it is our responsibility, whenever we have any test coming in our lives, we have to remind ourselves that do not give this make this difficulty our weakness, because it has come from the Imam, and he will give me the strength. Because what does it say? It says very clearly here that whoever believes in Allah, he will guide his heart. So what we are seeking, strength in the face of difficulty. And he will guide, he will give us that strength if we are believers. So we have to remind ourselves to remember to be believer. Do not forget that. And the next verse very beautifully says, chapter 3, verse 175, it is only the devil who makes men fear his friends. Fear them not. Fear me, if you are true believers. So whatever happens in our life, a test comes in, and we start fearing things, fearing people, and worrying about things. If my business will be lost, everybody will come to know about it. People will talk about me, they will not respect me, and I will have no status in the society, and this and that, and constantly going on in these thoughts. What did Shaitan do? He introduced the false fear, fear of people. And we forgot that whenever the test comes, behind the veil of this test, behind the disguise of the test, there is rahmah, his rahmat hidden. And we do not see that rahmat, we do not stay firm believers to seek strength from Imam. What do? We start complaining. And Shaitan, when it finds the weak moment, he starts giving us false fear. So what does this verse teach us? It is teaching us that do not fear people. Do not have false fear, which is called khawf-e-beja, baseless fear. The fear is all in our mind, but we are expected, we are commanded, we are guided, we are ordained to fear Allah. Fear him who has total control of everything. If he has sent us the difficulty, he can also give us the strength and the ability to come out of the challenges. So we have to remember that we do not need to fear others, but fear the Lord who has sent the test, who will also send the rahmat as well. So it is very clear to us that when we are reciting this prayer, kullu hammin wa gammin, either we are stuck in the past or we are anxious about the future. Whatever it is, we own that fear of ours, submit it to Imam, that you are in every sorrow, every grief, you are with your name, everything will vanish. So what we do, we take responsibility of the test which has come to us to continue to look at it with the eyes of wisdom. Hammin wa gammin, sorrows and grief. And we understand that losses or trauma or pain which causes us the anxiety, or the grief of the past leading us to have depression, both are diseases. And these diseases can be overcome with the name of the Imam. And very interestingly, the root of these diseases is that all the tests which we have in our physical life. And very beautifully in chapter 2, verse 155, it says that he will surely test us. He will surely test us with something of fear and hunger, loss of wealth, lives and fruits. But give good tidings to the patient. Allahu ma'as sabirin. Allah is with those who are patient. Those who are patient in the face of difficulties, which are very, many different kinds of difficulties. Each one of us has our own life and our different types of tests. No one is without the test, because it is said in the Quran, it is given. Everyone will be tested. Nobody is free from the test. So tests are must. In the world, no one can escape it. So fear, when Allah says that he will give us fear, this fear could be worldly fear, loss of name, honor, any kind of loss. And we fear that, right? Second is hunger, physical poverty. Again, it's a type of loss. Loss of money, loss of life and health, loss of earnings, losing a family member, losing a business, or experiencing difficult relationships issues, or health issues. Any issue, you name it, which we know about it, exists in the world, we have gone through it, we are going through it. These are part of life. Khuda Ta'ala has very clearly told us in the Quran that He will test us. So no one can escape it. No one can escape it. However, we do need to remember that fear does come. But when we direct the fear into the fear of Lord, fear of Allah, we will be protected from the fear of people, Khawf-e-Beja. The origin of the Khawf-e-Beja, the false fear, is actually from Nafs-e-Ammara. It is given to us from Shaitan. And there can be very many examples. The way I took the example of a business, loss of business. I have a name, I have a status, and now something happened going into bankruptcy, and now I've lost everything. The house is in foreclosure. Now, how do I tell people that I am not the same person? I used to give so much of sufro and donation. I can't do anything like that. So people will not respect me. This is one simple example. But there can be very many examples. In fact, if I were to talk to you, each one of you will be able to give me an example of your own life. So do know that it is part of life and nobody can escape it. So remember, kullu hammin wa gammin. It is part of each one of us in our life. However, the intensity of the anxiety or the depression is different in different individuals. Depending on what? Depending on their iman, depending on their sabr. Fear of God. So this is, I have taken from Book of Healing, and I'll just read the quote so we all can understand it. Fear of God, the exalted, as He ought to be feared, is the real taqwa. And we have talked about taqwa, fear, and cure of false fear in our study of Book of Healing. But we have to remind ourselves that if we want taqwa, real taqwa, we ought to fear Him. Because He is the one who sends the test, and He is the one who will send the strength as well. He can remove all the tests from our lives. He can. Or He can test us multiple ways. It is all in His will. We got to fear Him. And that is the true meaning of the real taqwa and the spirit of all worship. It is not only appropriate and important, but also extremely necessary for every Muslim to have this wisdom-filled fear. We are expected to have this fear because He is in total control. We submit our fears to Him and we seek mercy and strength from Him only. Contrary to this, to fear His creatures is called false fear, Khawf-e-Beja. This fear is inappropriate, futile, and untrue. We are not supposed to have that fear. It gives birth to numerous mental, psychological, and spiritual diseases and disables the one who has it from accomplishing heroic deeds as a mujahid. The word mujahid is actually same as when Imam says in Baitul Khiyar, Lashkar, you are my Lashkar. Lashkar is the same word as mujahid. Mujahid are warriors. If you are in a Lashkar, if one is in the Lashkar, in the army, they are warriors. They are training to be a warrior, to fight in the battlefield. But those mu'mineen who are in Lashkar, who are mujahideen, they cannot fight in the battlefield. Why? Because they have given themselves to false fear. And that false fear will lead to numerous, not just one, numerous mental, psychological, and spiritual diseases. And it will make us handicapped. And we will not be able to achieve what we want to achieve. And we are seekers of His Nūr. We are seeking His light. We sit in Baitul Khiyal being mujahid, being lashkar, being warrior. Will we get that light? No. Why? Because we are losing our earning here by not becoming mindful how the false fear is giving us spiritual diseases. Yes, physical, psychological, mental, as well as spiritual diseases. So it is extremely important that when we are saying Nād-i and we are seeking him, that every sorrow and grief will vanish. It will vanish, but do we understand where it is coming from? So when we are saying this prayer, we have to understand that this prayer will be powerful for us if we will realize where is our responsibility. What do we need to do to activate this prayer? Do not have false fear. Thus, the wise Quran in its wisdom-filled teachings has enjoined the fear of God only and nobody else. And the reference is given of 33 by 39, which says, those who convey the messages of Allah and fear him and do not fear anyone but Allah. And sufficient is Allah as accountant. He is our accountant. He is our lawyer. He is our judge. We don't need to fear people. People judge others. It doesn't matter. We need to fear our Lord. So when the fear of God dominates and controls the hearts of the people of faith, not all, people of faith, the fear of anybody else will not be able to affect them. It will not affect. So we do not need to worry about false fear. We got to worry about having the fear of Lord. When we have that, this fear will not be able to control. Shaitan will not be able to find any weak moment in us. And we will be victors. Beautiful Ginan, Eji પિંડને કારણ કાંઈ જીવડાને હારો સામી રાજો લેખા લેશે જ એજી આત્માને જોઉં તો કાંઈ ન દિશે સામી રાજો લેખા લેશે જી. For the sake of the body, why do you forsake the soul? The Lord will take account of all your deeds. Now don't think of this as a negative or scary thing. We just studied that he is our accountant regardless. We remember him, we forget that he is our accountant. If we forget, we are actually making people, worldly people are accountant because we are worrying about their judgment and we have forgotten our Lord. Peer is teaching us that why do you forget your soul? He will take your accounts, not others. When I try to contemplate the soul, nothing is seen. Nothing is seen. The majestic Lord will surely take the account of your deeds. Why we are not able to see anything? Why? When we see our soul, we will not have fear of false fear. We will not worry about what people talk about us, how the judges. It doesn't matter. Because our accountant, our lawyer and judges are Imam. And we need to worry about that, nothing else. So this is what Pir is teaching us, the same teaching in our heart. Why are we studying this? To get to the root cause of kullu hammin wa gammin. Why is it bothering me? Why do I have the anxiety or the depression? Where is it coming from? Because it is from the false fear giving us mental, psychological, and spiritual diseases. So somewhere, due to this weakness, Shaitan is controlling and giving us this illness, right? Mawlānā Hāzīr Imām's Farman of Bombay, India, November 22nd, 1992. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This Farman is very important. And I do not want my spiritual children to think that I'm worried or concerned about the future. What I'm saying to my murids today is that there are times in human history where change is so significant that society has to think about the change and prepare itself for its consequences. What I'm concerned about, what I'm telling my Jamaat is this Farman, is my thoughts about the future, my advice about how to prepare for that future, so that it is a future from which you can draw a better quality of life for yourselves and your children. I'm not saying you should be fearful of the future. I'm saying the future will be increasingly different from the past. And therefore, you need to prepare yourself for that future so that your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they are prepared to take advantage of the opportunities which will occur. So we have all heard this farman, and guess what? We all became very focused in getting secular education, worldly education. We got worried about money, so we started saving money, investing money, protecting money, became frugal. All that we did related to the world. Related to the world. Imam is saying to prepare yourselves for its consequences. And today, if we see this from this is 1992. Today, 2023, if we look at the statistics, even in Jamaat, mental health problems have increased. Anxiety, depression has increased. That is why we have now access program on mental health only. Did we prepare ourselves? We prepared ourselves for the worldly reasons, but did we prepare ourselves for the spirituality? Why? Because when we did not have knowledge, we didn't prepare ourselves. So today we need this prayer more than ever before, invoking Ali. But there is a knowledge related to it which we have to realize, that if we continue to not prepare ourselves and continue to give into that false fear, it will lead us to spiritual diseases. It will give us mental and psychological problems. Imam had warned us in 1992. Quran has taught us almost 1400 years ago. The key is, do we understand, do we remind ourselves, do we stay in remembrance? So here, what we are focusing, how do we prepare ourselves? What is the guidance? Another farman, in fact, farman of Mawlānā Hāzīr Imām, and then speech. The farman is from Tanzania, October 9th, 1959. The last point is that do not fear your future. Do not turn away from your future. Use your education, use your knowledge, use your mind, and keep to the religion. With this, I'm sure you'll be able to do well. So yes, what we did, we got education, we have physical, worldly, secular knowledge. But did we use our mind and did we focus on the religion? That is where we have lacked. This is beautiful speech, convocation address at Peshawar University, November 30th, 1967. Mawla said in this speech, the fearful chase after material ease must surely be tempered by peace of mind, by conscious, by moral values, which must be resuscitated. Resuscitated, when do we resuscitate? It's almost dead. And Imam is using that word that's surprisingly resuscitated, like it is dead. What is dead? Peace of mind. Having this conscious and moral values. It has to be revived, it has to be resuscitated. And this was in 1967. If not, man will simply have converted the animal instinct of feeding himself before others and even at the expense of others into perhaps a more barbaric instinct of feeding himself and then hoarding all he can at the cost of the poor, the sick, and the hungry. Where is morality here? Where is the ethics here? It will not remain the part of humans because what has overpowered? Anxiety, fear. Oh, if I don't have it, how will I live? I will die. So I don't worry about others. I hope we are able to connect and understand that why Jamaati institution now have mental health program. What we have compromised? Taqwa, ethics. Giving too much space in our mind and heart to false fear and not keeping our mind to the religion. And this is beautiful references from Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. The first one is from My Philosophy of Happiness. Mawla says, I should have a word to say to those who deem themselves unfortunate. Are we unfortunate? Everybody will say, I am. Why? Because that's how we think. That's how Shaitan makes us think. But let's listen to this guidance very carefully. I should have a word to say to those who deem themselves unfortunate from a worldly point of view. I should say to them, do not look up and lament that you are not as well off as those above you. Look down and congratulate yourself that you are better off than those below you. To a man who looks with such eyes upon the world, it is not a prison, but a garden. A marvelous garden, the garden of the Lord. Can we apply this principle in our spiritual progress as well? We can, we should, because comparison is never good. We always see how further we have come, how we have progressed. And that will give us this peace, this gratitude, and we will be living in this marvelous garden, garden of the Lord, where patience is the virtue. Gratitude, shukr guzari is the virtue. Peace will automatically come in our being. Then second is the message of Imam in 1955. Mawlānā says, struggle is the meaning of life. Defeat or victory is in the hands of God. But struggle itself is man's duty and should be his joy. We do not run away from working hard by constantly striving, struggling. Do not even worry about the outcome. Because who is our judge? Who is our lawyer? Who is our accountant? It is Imam, not the worldly people. Worldly people will always do injustice to us. It is only Imam who will do the justice. He will always bless us more than what we worked hard for. But we as Mu'minees, we just do. We continue to struggle. We don't worry about the results. He will bless us with the results. Key point 2. The way we say, invoke Ali, who is the locus of manifestation of divine wonders. Through your walayat. Here, we have to ask, when we say invoke Ali, who is Ali? Do we know Ali? Do we recognize Ali? We have heard these hadiths very many times, which says, Ana madinatul ilm wa aliyun babuha. Ana darul hikmata wa aliyun babuha. Ali is the gate. Ali is the door to the city of knowledge. And Ali is the gate to the house of wisdom. If we are invoking Ali, we have to enter into the gate as well, right? If we just say, we stand at the gate, and there's a beautiful saying, somebody had said, we stand at the gate and we say, Salam Sahib, but not willing to enter into the gate. Yes, you are presenting your salam, you are saying I'm obedient, but there is an action involved to enter into the gate. Mawlānā Ali is the door. If we don't enter the door, we will never have any knowledge, because first the door and then entering into the city. And then within the city, we have to find that house, which is the house of wisdom. Again, we have to enter it through the gate. So if we are invoking Ali, but not doing what we are expected to do, are we invoking Ali? We need to think about it. The second point is walayat, authority. So let us understand. So I hope we all are together when we are saying invoking Ali. Who is Ali? Recognition of Ali, who is the door, entering into the door, and then walayat. So walayat is beautifully mentioned in Quran. 5/55 is actually known as ayah walayat. And it says, indeed, your guardian is Allah and his messenger and those who believe, who establish prayers and pay zakat, religious texts, while they are bowing down in prayers. As I said, this is known as ayah walaya. It says here, God is wali, Prophet is wali, and those who have perfect iman are also wali. And we do know that who we are talking about, who gave while bowing down, being in ruku, it was Mawlānā Ali. That Mawlānā Ali did the charity while he was in ruku, saying his namaz, and somebody came and asked, I beg on the name of God, and he removes his ring, and even in the position of the ruku, he gives it to him. And the beggar takes it and goes away. And that became the verse in the Quran, that those who give while bowing down. So God is wali, Prophet is wali, Imam is wali. Wali is actually meaning the beloved, the friend of the Lord. Now, the key concept here, if we want to become the wali, only wali one can become when they have perfect iman. If one does not have iman, they cannot become the wali. Remember, we are understanding walaya. It is all related, so we have to keep connecting. Stay with me. So, when we are saying that one has to have perfect iman, do we know that iman also has darajat? And there's a beautiful terms which are given to us by our Buzurg-Wāridīn, that the beginning iman, iman is in 3 stages. The beginning iman is incomplete iman, initial iman, iman-e-naqis. When someone starts seeking knowledge, they become stronger, they are progressing, they are active in this journey. Their iman will be called iman-e-raji, meaning walking towards it, trying to make it perfect, and finally advancing and continuing on the path of struggle, remaining mujahid, they get to the level of iman-e-kamil, perfect iman. Perfect iman, who has it? Imam. So if we want to become the wali of God, of Prophet, of Imam, we also have to have perfect iman. In order to get the perfect iman, we have to realize his authority, his walaya. What does it say? In 9/111, Allah has bought from the believers their lives, their wealth, because the paradise will be theirs as the price of this transaction. So for Mu'minins, Allah has bought from Mu'minins their lives, their wealth, everything. So today, if we say, oh, I got loss, I had to face loss in my business, I had to close down this, business. Whose business was that? Yours? No, it wasn't. You were working, you were supposed to work to take care of your family and earn, but the business or the progress, your life, your soul, which you were using to, increase that business, it is all Imam's, it's not yours. So how can you say you lost it? It was never yours to begin with. If we have loss in the, family member leaving us, death, and we say, oh, I lost my this so-and-so. Really? Was it yours? It belonged to Imam. So we have to be very careful and realize that we are in authority of Imam, walaya. And when we are in obedience to Imam, because 48/10 is ayah bayya. When we are in obedience to Imam, we are saying, Mawla, everything, tan man dhan is yours. It is all yours. And then we complain or say, I lost this or I had that. How? Lack of knowledge or not remembering the knowledge. So what does it mean? What does it say to us? That Allah has bought from Mu'minins all what is ours. We have no authority over anything of ours. Our children, our own life, our earnings, everything is His. In exchange for what? He has promised the paradise for us. He has promised paradise for us. So if we want paradise, if we want to be with Imam, we cannot have mind. Mera, in Quran it says, why do you do my, right? It's mine, it's mine. And we do that. We forget that. So very beautifully, our peers have guided us. Quran is guiding to us that when we had this contract with Bayat, we said, Mawla tan man dhan taru. In exchange of that, Imam said, paradise will be yours. But when we live our physical worldly life and we forget and we say, it is mine, it is this, and it is this sorrow because I lost this and I had that. When we say those things, we have to realize it was never ours to begin with. He has the authority over us. We have nothing of ours. Our family, our children, you name it. Everything is of His. And He tests us to remind us that, do you remember it is mine, or are you start complaining, that it is mine and I am having this difficulty? So do you relate and realize that when the test come in our life, what is he reminding? Do you remember it is mine or yours? If we understand that, this powerful dua, Nad-i, will start working for us. We have to remember that we are seeker of that paradise, that royal bungalow in paradise. I call it royal bungalow. We want that royal bungalow where Imam is, nowhere else. We want to be with Imam. So we have to recall this ayah bayat. Those who give bayat, and it is of course to the Prophet, they verily give bayat to Allah. Allah's hand is on their hands. So whoever breaks this bayat does so to his own soul's loss. And whoever fulfills the covenant with Allah, he will soon grant him immense reward. Ajran azima. Immense reward. And we say this in our dua. Ajran azima. So if we are seeking that immense reward, we have to not break our bayat. So, we thought, oh, bayat is with obedience to Imam. But obedience also relates to walaya, remembering his authority over our beings. It is all his. We are saying this dua, biwalayateka ya Ali, ya Ali. But what does it mean? That he has total authority over us. Nothing is ours. So key point 3, this is a final point, that if we want this prayer, when we say Nad-i, to work for us, to becoming, becoming successful in this prayer, we have to remember these 3 points. Number 1, realize the present. Recognize the authority, remain active. So key point 3 is 3 R's we have to remember. Realize the present. Be present, not perfect. Nobody is expecting us to be perfect. But yes, be present. Do not be in the past, sorrows of the past, or fear, anxieties of the future. Be present. Realize deeply in your being, the present moment is all what we have. When we build this habit of doing zikr, do you know what we are doing in reality? We are learning to become present. Whenever we remind ourselves during the daytime, at work, wherever we are, that, oh, I want to do abundant zikr, we are breaking away from those thoughts of either the past or the future and becoming present. Let me say, yali, yali, yali. So when we are doing zikr, staying in remembrance, we are becoming present. And yes, we have to let go of this desire of becoming perfect. We want to be farman bardar to Imam, not perfect. Because when we seek perfection in the worldly sense, in the worldly life, we will only call shaitan near us. We are not saying that we should not struggle. Remember, we struggle. But what happens when we try to have this desire of becoming perfect, we want to prove ourselves to others. Or in return, then we need acknowledgement from others that, yes, I am perfect, I did this good. That is not what we are seeking. Those who are mu'minins, those who are seekers of the haqq, they are not seeking that. What they are desiring is to become present, become mindful. All calamities, grief will vanish for those who will become present. Because by being present, they will be in remembrance of his walaya, his authority over us. So be present. And this is beautiful, Ginan. Recognizing his authority. Eji ek var sutti sapnu lidu sapnama parchayu bal re. Tene jatak jotak ati ghana. Natak joine gun maye re. Tene કંકુ કેસ છાપા તેને કંકુ કેસ છુપા દેવરાવે અને માલન લાવે હાર રે એટલે સપુંતર વહી ગયું કેનું રમાણ્યું બાલ રે. One barren woman had a dream. In the dream, she gave birth to a child. Many fortune seekers and tellers came beside her, and the drama was filled with abundance of merit and goodness. Does it sound familiar? The drama was filled with abundance of merit and goodness. Her hair was decorated with red color, and the female gardener brought the garland of flowers. The effects of this dream disappeared. Whose child did she play with? She is recalling, whose child was that? Do we understand, do we realize deeply his authority? That whatever we see in this worldly life, it is not ours. It is his. And we have to remind ourselves. And many times people talk about detachment. How do I detach from all the attachment? Walaya, by remembering his walaya. Automatically, we will become detached. We will find that peace of mind, which we don't. Why? Because there are pains with attachments. All those sorrows, calamities will vanish if we remember his walaya. Now, this is very related to women. So Pir knew our thoughts, right? So this is another verse in the same Ginan, and I was laughing when I found that. And I said, let me share that. Eji ek rank suto ne sopnu ladio, sopnama pamyo raj re. Hathi ghoda ati ghana ne palkhe potana kaj re. તેને 4 કરોડ ચામર દીધેલાય પ્રાણી પોતે કરે તે થાય રે એટલે સપનું તર વહી ગયું સહેસો પાડ્યો મન માહે રે. One destitute fell asleep and had a dream, and in the dream he attained a worldly kingdom. In it there were abundant elephants and horses, and palanquins were at his disposal. And the place was decorated everywhere. And whatever he commanded happened. The effects of this dream subsided, and the mind was again in confusion and disarray. So men or women, gender doesn't make a difference. Whatever kind of attachments we have, being in our genders, all has to go, and we have to remember his walaya. It is all his. So recognizing authority. The third point is remaining active, meaning no lip service. Sadgur kahe re piyu piyu to sab juk kare par piyu na paave koi. Mukh japanta jo piyu mile to sir saata na hoye. True guide says the entire creation can pronounce beloved, beloved, Mola, Mola, but not every being attains the beloved. Thus, if the beloved could be attained by mere movement of the lips, there is no need of bargaining of the head. Meaning, I would say, bargaining of the head, meaning participation of intellect in faith. There is no need. There is no need. If we all could, have received Imam Zidar, but just by saying Mola, Mola, Mola. No, there is intellect involved. There is a participation of intellect in faith is very much needed. So, remaining active will bear the fruits. If we do everything through our lips and physically, like mechanically, we say dua, we go to Jamaat Khana, do Giryaz, Arji, Tasbih, and everything. But our heart and mind is somewhere else. So, if we are like that, meaning we are not active, we are not on the progression of the Iman, we are at Iman and Naqis, and that is it. And we are very happy at a level of a child who copies and who does. Iman and Naqis. Meaning there's no active progress desired or sought. Pir says, piyu piyu to sab chuk kare, par piyu na paave koi. So it is very clear that no lip service, it all involves what is here in our knowledge, and then how our heart and mind is connected to what we are saying from our lips. It has to be there. Mawlānā Hāzīr Imām's farman, 2 farmans, Karachi, Pakistan, Garden, Saturday, November 21st, 1964, and then Lisbon, Portugal, 7th July 2018. Let us recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ali Muhammad. I would like my Jamaat as from today to start using this new Jamaat Khana. I would like them when they come here to remember that they come for prayers, that they come to perform that duty, which is the only duty which can make them strong in adversity and humble in success. I would like them to understand the only source of true happiness that they can claim is the source of happiness which they get from their faith. The next farman, happiness is a blessing in Islam. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It is a blessing in our faith. So if there is happiness is a blessing in Islam. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It is a blessing in our faith. So if there is happiness in the Jamaat, and it is happiness which is well placed, happiness which is well placed, then enjoy that happiness. Enjoy that happiness. Make it part of your lives. A smile does not cost anything. Many people in Jamaat are commercial people. I ask them, do they pay you when you smile? And the answer is, of course, not. So I hope that my Jamaat will be happy, will smile, will share happiness amongst yourselves, with your children, with your parents, with your grandparents, with your friends. Spread happiness. I give you best loving blessings. Khanavadan, Khanavadan, Khanavadan. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Why these two farmans? Because if you were to read the second farman, generally people think that, oh, Imam wants us to be happy and smiling and this fun and that fun and let's do this and let's do that, let's get together, play this and do this. I'm not saying that we should not do that. But please remember, when Imam says happiness, Imam has explained us what is the true, the source which is everlasting, source of happiness which they get from their faith. That is the only true source of happiness. When Imam says a smile, we all are expected to smile. Regardless of what test we are in, we smile, we spread happiness. And especially when we are with like-minded friends, we are rudost, those who are seeking knowledge. We all know everybody is in a test, everybody is struggling. And that is okay. But we continue to smile, we continue to spread happiness, and we continue to seek the true source of happiness, which is everlasting. Because in the world, any and every happiness is temporary. And I was quoting this Kalam-e-Maula part yesterday, which says, "Ek din khushi se dhol bajaya, duje din hua mua koi gam." One day, we had this, party or wedding or whatnot. We are celebrating festival and happy and drumming and dancing. And the next day, something bad happened. Have you heard of these things? We all have probably experienced it as well. Yesterday, I was very happy. And today, from nowhere, some difficulty came. And I'm feeling so low today. What am I supposed to do? The only source of true happiness is from my faith. Those who are those who are with knowledge, like-minded friends will remember that when Imam says happiness which is well placed, Imam is not talking about wasting time, money, but have the worldly happiness as well. We need physical, worldly, good times as well. But reality, the way we are looking at the world today, there are very many rapid changes which has made people become shaken on their, they're not on their feet. Everybody is shaken up. War is happening. So many people are insecure in their lives. And when we listen to the news, horror stories of those people, it is painful. Automatically, we feel fear in our heart. So yes, the world is full of sorrows and difficulties. But we, with our faith, will place our happiness in a right place and will continue to smile and find happiness. So what we are learning here? No lip service, remaining active. Actively remembering, becoming present. Do not be going away off the path when we are tested. Remain on the path even when we are tested, because we have to remember these farameens. Place it somewhere in the home so we can remind ourselves, I am happy because I am the seeker of the truth, and I am happy because that is what Imam has said. Only source of true happiness is my iman, my mazhab, my tariqah, name of my imam. So now when we say this dua, Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Ali, Nad-i Aliyun mazrul ajaib, tajidahu awnan laka fin nawaib, kullu hammin wa gammin sayanjali, biwalayateka, ya Ali, ya Ali, ya Ali. Invoke Ali, who is the locus of manifestation of divine wonders. You will find him helpful. You will find him helpful in all calamities. Every sorrow and grief will vanish through your walayat, O Ali, O Ali, O Ali. Ameen. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Niamat Sahaba. Such a beautiful, heartwarming session on Nad-i. You know, there are so many of these things which we get constant reminders through our dua, which we say. We do, you know, remember about bayat. We do remember about obedience in second part of our dua. All of these combined, you know, we do have all of those moments of waking up our intellect to pay attention that these are the things which we are saying 3 times a day and focusing on. But at times it's just we forget about these things. And it is so beautiful to get these reminders in such a beautiful way. Before we go into question and answer, I just wanted to let the friends know, if you're not in the group and you're requesting recording, groups chat is, the link is there. You can go ahead and join the group. And then there is a session of Kalam Imam Mubin on every Saturday. You can go ahead and join that as well. I just wanted to add one thing, Niamat Sahaba. In Mission Conference in 1945, Sultan Muhammad Shah Salatullah alayhi had mentioned that the most important verse in the Quran is Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. And he says it that people only think about it as, you know, when someone dies. But it is not. Any difficulty, any sorrow, any test comes into our lives, we're supposed to remember that prayer, that we are from him and we will go to him. We will return to him. So all of these tests, all of these anxieties and those moments become easier to tolerate when we say it is not mine, it is his, and he has taken it back. It is his mercy, right? And Sultan Muhammad Shah's one beautiful thing, I think my mom used to say it, that if something falls onto your feet, you know, and, you know, it hurts you, it was supposed to happen. It was better than that happened than something would have happened. And I know that it is in one of the speech, I think you quoted, and it was such beautiful. It was a good reminder that, you know, we need to remember these things. And, you know, I think everybody would have seen that wonderful video of Hāzīr Imām where Mawla says it would be foolish to think that there are no problems in life. So amazing. I think the Nad-i session was, I think it touched all of our hearts. I would welcome any friends with questions, comments, or any reflections you would like to share. Please come forward. You can unmute. Okay, we have a question in the chat, Niamat Sahaba. Is there a rule on how many times we can recite Nad-i in the day?
No, there's no rule. It is all your desire, your love. We are believers of abundant zikr. Zikr kasir, meaning as much as you can and more, desire more. Because by doing zikr with the understanding and meaning, if you're able to do that, because we work too, so sometimes it is harder, right? But the desire is to become always present, mindful by being in remembrance. right now, here, this moment, what am I doing? What is happening in my life? Am I in remembrance or not with remembrance? So as much as you like.
More the merrier.
Definitely.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Another question we have in the chat: how can we identify when it is khawf bija and when this is like true test?
Very important question. I'm glad that you asked. Whenever you are faced with a test, anything which is happening in your life, if you are in remembrance, do know that this is from Imam. If you forget the remembrance, you just cannot recall Zikr, and you are thinking, what will happen, this will happen, that will, I need to fix this, I need to do that. Do know that this has come because of the khawf bija. Because for mu'minins, when the test comes and they are in remembrance, it is from him. And if I may add here, when the test comes and we pass the test, he actually elevates us in his spirituality. So every test, the way in the worldly, life, if you're in school, college, or university, whatever, criterias are for testing, measuring our assessment, when we fulfill that, when we prove that we passed it, we go to the next level. Similarly, same thing happens in our life. When we are in remembrance, automatically that test will become easier. We will find peace in our heart and we'll be able to pass the test. When we pass it, we go to the next grade, meaning now we are ready for next test. This is the life, the way we see the life reality in the worldly education, worldly progress. Today there is one business, now business is doing good, so let me start another business, meaning another difficulty and planning and doing such a hard work, right? Why not? If the worldly sense, if you're able to do that, why would you not do that? Yes, you would do that. But every new step, meaning new stressors, new tensions, but you would do that because you want to become successful. So if we understand these examples in the worldly life, same is the application to spiritual life. If when you are doing business, you're opening the second business and your thoughts are about finding the right business and doing the right way of the business so business is successful, you're not worrying about what the family is going to say, what the neighbor man will say, or this or that, but focusing on the business progression, meaning you are then doing the business. Take same example. When you are tested, any test, business difficulty, life, any test, take any test. If you are in remembrance, then remember that every test comes for a reason. And if you remember that, realize that this test is from Imam because I'm in remembrance. I have this strength because it is all his. It is his walaya. I have no control. What control I have is on my thoughts, my reaction. I will control that. How? By staying in remembrance. And when you stay in remembrance, automatically you will see the path to progression. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I think when you were saying it, friend might have actually understood as, so the test comes to only moments, not ordinary people. If you want to just add something to it.
You're actually right that mu'minins are most, you'll see in trials and tribulations. You know why? Because we studied the Quranic verse. It is only the mu'minins who say that Mawla, tan man dhan is yours. I have given you everything. In return, I want paradise. So because Mu'min is mindful, right? Mu'min is aware. And Mu'min knows what he wants. So he's very focused on the target. Worldly people live their life like animals. And I'm not saying that, okay? It is mentioned in Quran, Imam has mentioned in his speech. If people are living life like an animal, they don't even know if they're tested. Because if somebody pushes them, they'll push them back. They'll fight them back. There is no ethics, there's no moral, there's nothing. No etiquettes. Life of an animal. But it is mu'minins, when they are tested, they'll be calm. And we may see, oh, this is injustice being done to this moment. So unfair. And this Momin is not even complaining. Why? Because Momin knows who is in power. Not these worldly people who are doing injustice to me. It is my Imam who is in total power. So who do I seek the strength and victory from? My Imam. Mominins are not seeking worldly victory. So they are able to face the defeat in the world. Why? Because what they are getting, none others are getting. Remember, we have come to this world for hereafter. This world is our, dunya akhirat ki kheti hai. We have come to this world to earn for hereafter. So that does not mean that Momin will accept abuse or injustice. No, in a worldly sense, we have to do what we have to do to protect our rights. But it will not get into my heart, causing anxiety or depression or sadness. I will remain happy and smiling. That's how our mental dialogue is. Because I know who is in total control and I'm in communication with him. By staying in remembrance, by seeking from him, by praying to him. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I think friend does agree that yes, I have seen that worldly people are happy. Ji Shabir Sabo. Go ahead. We can't hear you. Okay, meanwhile, we're going to go ahead. Beautiful quote posted by Amina Saba. Struggle is the meaning of life. Defeat or victory is in the hands of God. But struggle itself is the duty of the man and should be his joy. So, yes, shukr alhamdulillah. We have a long message from one of the friends, Yasmin Saba, and she does mention about that in past times, our elderly used to blow Nād-i, when something was going on, when there was a difficulty and everything. So they would blow Nād-i, and then we do the same thing. And then she quoted that, the Talika, which Mawlānā Hāzīr Imām just said, you mentioned. So one can understand and acquire by reciting Nād-i is to seek help from Mawla in, sorry, I lost that message, Mafi. One's physical difficulty, which may or may not dispel by Nād-i recitation. But this great prayer will give us spiritual strength and healing to face any kind of physical difficulties. So if you can explain a little bit more, is that correct understanding?
It is, absolutely. So we are not talking about any magic happening in our lives, right? If somebody is sick, they have to go to the doctor, they have to seek treatment. In fact, one of our friends, beautiful friend here, had to go through chemotherapy, but staying very regular in Zikr Ibadat and ilmi classes and facing this health challenge. And she shares that the way she's going through her illness is so easy, so comfortable, so relaxing. Does not mean she doesn't have pain. Does not mean she does not have to have chemotherapy. Does not mean that she doesn't have side effects of chemotherapy. Does not mean that her diagnosis has changed. No. Everything is happening as it would happen to anybody else who has this disease. But she's smiling, she's happy, and she's content. That is the difference. Meaning, you are absolutely correct when you said that spiritual strength and healing comes from this prayer. That is what we are looking for. The worldly life doesn't change. We all have to go through these tests. And as Mominin, we've understood, as seekers of knowledge, we've understood that the test will come. There's no doubt about it. It is all about our reaction to that test. How do we behave? That will change. So Momin is tested, but Momin is happy, content, and in sabr and shukr guzari. What an amazing attitude. What an amazing way of passing through this difficult health challenge as if nothing is happening. Casual. It's all, yeah, it's okay. I'll go through it. So you're absolutely correct.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. We have one hand raised by Naila Saba. You can please unmute.
Yeah, so Niamat Saba, there's like this one Beitul for man where Mawlānā says that, I'm paraphrasing, that through this ibadat, you may feel sad at times, but you will never be unhappy. Have you heard that from him?
Yes, yes.
So, and in my personal experience, our heart becomes naram when you see the grief and the war. I feel sad in many things, but we are not unhappy inside,
So beautifully said. I'd like to elaborate, Naila. So Naila has brought a very beautiful point, and she's recalling the Betul Khayal Farman, that if you are in remembrance of, Mawla's name, in your ibadat, in your knowledge, when you are in remembrance, right? What happens that you can be sad because when we experience losses, right? Or we are sick, having pain in our body, or dealing through whatever relationship difficulties or financial difficulties, we do feel sad. We are humans, it affects us, but we will not be unhappy. That sadness would not last or become anxiety or depression. It will not be disease in that way. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean that in Jamaat there is no anxiety and depression. There is. But what are we learning? That yes, you continue to seek the treatment, because anxiety, depression, when we mention, the part of it is, of course, due to what we have been discussing, but the part of it is also related to chemical imbalance as well. So we are not anywhere saying that do not take your medications and just do zikr. No, I'm not saying that. Please do not misunderstand me. We continue to seek treatment wherever we need to, because we take care of ourselves. Healthy body will have healthy mind and healthy soul. A sick person cannot be staying in remembrance. Those who are understanding this, being mu'minins, that sickness is limited to my physical body. It is in the name of Imam that will make me happy, give me strength, and I will be able to pass through the test. So, in other words, sadness, difficulties, pain, sorrows do come to Momin's life. But the way they pass through, they are never unhappy. They are never unhappy. So thank you for that beautiful point, Naila.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Niamat, we have one follow-up question. So if one succumbs to cough beja over and over again due to pain or difficulty, does Mawla send his rahmat nevertheless?
So if you are in remembrance, okay? Because if you are coming to these classes, I would say you are already progressing. You're already on the path. Because if you are asking this, my dear brother or sister, and it is, you are asking for all of us. So thank you for asking that question. If anyone feels that way, that they are constantly being entrapped of different kind of, cough beja, traps of this worldly maya, right? We call it maya actually. And we are humans and we live in this world and it happens to us. And every time when we are hurt, the choice is, how do I remind myself that I need to stay in remembrance? Because maya is attachment. Attachment will lead to sorrow and the pain. The key is that every time when we fall, but when we stand up stronger, and we are able to last longer, have the longer strength when fighting with cough beja. A time will come, we will not succumb to cough beja. We will not. So what I'm saying, in other words, it is okay that we fall down. Be kind to yourself, because we are humans. We are walking on the path, and it happens. It happens. But what happens beautifully when we are connected with knowledge journey, when we are building this habit of doing regular zikr, every time we stand up stronger. Every time we stand up stronger. So we last longer in front of shaitan. And inshallah, with practice, what happens? Shaitan cannot touch us. And that's what we are seeking. So I would say Mubarakbad. Because very many failures are very acceptable. What is not acceptable is to quit. Every time when we get succumbed to Maya, it's okay. We made a mistake. Tubo tubo taksidar. Now I will not succumb to it. We stand up and we go further and we push more. And one time it will come that we will be able to not be influenced by it, because He is merciful and we are seeking strength from Him. We are seeking His rahmat by remembering His authority. All it is His, it is not mine, it is His. He will give me strength. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I just wanted to share, there are a couple, like Yasmin Saba has said, beautiful comments. I'll just paraphrase it, that, with the teaching and with the understanding, friend understands that, when the difficulty comes and we are patient and we are in zikr, it will bring us closer to the Imam Zaman, rather than staying into our physical pain. So that's beautiful. I would like to read this beautiful farman which Zohar Saiba has posted. It's one of the Baitul Khayal farmans. Recite the salawat, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I want to do this important farman to all of you with this ibadat. You will be able to move all your difficulties according to your will. The way wind is moving the mountains of clouds with its will, same way you will also be able to move all your mountains of difficulties with your will, and you will notice that your mountains are moving. And Mawlānā Hāzīr Imām actually made the sign moving his Mubarak hands. And I am sure it will happen very quick, and then you will never be frightened and discouraged, and any difficulty will not be able to touch you. This is Mawlānā Hāzīr Imām's Mubarak Farman, Karachi, Pakistan, 1976. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Such a beautiful, joyous, glad tiding that, we're never alone. He is always, always with us. So, shukr, alhamdulillah, beautiful session, Niamat Saiba. Thank you so much for giving time and sharing this beautiful session with us. So, thank you so much, friends. Thank you for attending. And inshallah, we'll see you Saturday morning for our Kalame Imam Mubin Farman Mubarak session. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad, Niamat Saiba.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you,
Ya Ali
Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Madad.
Ya Ali 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 Madad. Thank you.
Ya Ali Madad ma, Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.